What transpires in the mind of a horse as it slumbers? This is a question science has overlooked for centuries. Until now, during sleep, an apparently tranquil horse may exhibit subtle yet telling signs: muscle twitches, rapid eye movements, contractions in its legs. But what do these signals truly signify? Is it merely resting or experiencing things we would never imagine possible in an animal? The burgeoning field of equine neuroscience has begun to investigate this systematically. Researchers are now monitoring brain patterns, respiratory variations, and involuntary motor reactions in horses across different sleep stages. And the data reveal something astonishing. Memory, emotion, and even movement simulations occur while they are asleep. This discovery changes everything. For a long time, horses were perceived as creatures of instinctual response, guided solely by fight or flight. But this evidence suggests there is far more unfolding beneath the surface. Imagine standing beside a whinny 100-pound animal, in complete repose, and realizing it's reacting to something that is no longer present. A past experience? A trauma? A longing? Researchers do not yet have all the answers, but the initial findings are unequivocal. Horses dream, and these dreams hold meaning. And this raises new questions. Do they dream of other horses? Of people? Of specific situations? Is it conceivable that a horse is reliving a memory? Science is now unlocking the gates to an entirely novel territory, a silent, invisible world brimming with significance, one that has always existed, yet remained unexplored. Watch until the end to discover what science has uncovered and how it might forever alter your perception of these magnificent animals. Have you ever noticed how rare it is to see a horse truly asleep? Most people spend years with horses and never witness them in deep slumber. This has fueled an age-old belief that they barely rest at all, that they are perpetually vigilant creatures, incapable of surrendering to sleep. It seems to make sense. After all, they are prey animals, right? In the wild, falling into a deep sleep would be a death sentence. Thus, for generations, we have believed that horses slept little, dreamed even less, or perhaps not at all, that their brains operated in a more rudimentary, mechanical fashion, that there was no room for dreams in a mind programmed solely for survival. But the truth is entirely different, and far more fascinating. Horses do sleep, yes, and they dream. Not in the way we might have imagined, but in a manner that reveals an astonishing emotional complexity. Science has discovered that their brains, during sleep, function in a surprisingly similar fashion to our own. They enter deep sleep cycle, traverse the REM phase, the very stage where dreams occur, and process emotional memories while their bodies rest. The same brain waves that sweep through your mind as you dream also sweep through theirs. The same electrical patterns that consolidate your memories also organize theirs. It's as if, in that moment of vulnerability, the chasm between human and horse completely vanishes. Except, there's a crucial detail, a detail that alters everything. They can only achieve this when they feel utterly secure, when they trust their environment, when they trust you. A horse does not lie down for deep sleep just anywhere. It chooses, it assesses, it senses, and only when all signals indicate safety does it permit its body to relax completely. This moment is not merely biological, it is emotional. It is a silent declaration of trust. Therefore, understanding their sleep is not simply about comprehending a bodily function. It is about understanding who they are internally. It is about deciphering the most honest language they possess. The way a horse sleeps is not merely a biological curiosity, it is an emotional barometer. When it allows itself to lie down and close its eyes entirely, it is making a profound choice. It is signifying its belief in the surrounding environment. It is indicating that you are part of its circle of safety. Hence, comprehending their sleep is to grasp something far greater, about how they feel, about how their minds operate in layers that extend far beyond pure instinct. And to understand this, we must journey back in time. We must fathom the origin of this need to dream, even as a creature ostensibly designed for perpetual alertness. The answer is etched into their very evolutionary history, and what you are about to discover will irrevocably change how you perceive that form lying on the ground. A horse's sleep is divided into stages that mirror millions of years of adaptation for survival. First comes light sleep, during which it remains standing. It seems impossible, but there exists a biological mechanism known as the patellar tendon lock. It functions as a natural lock in their legs, allowing muscles to relax without the animal collapsing. It's a brilliant evolutionary design. The joints fit together in a specific way, creating a supportive structure that requires no continuous muscular effort. Thus, the body rests while maintaining the capacity to flee in seconds if threatened. It's ingenious, It's efficient, but it's not enough, because the brain needs something more profound. It needs REM sleep, the stage where dreams occur and memories are organized. And for that, there's no alternative. The horse must lie down. During REM sleep, a horse's body undergoes remarkable transformations. Respiration becomes irregular, sometimes rapid, sometimes pausing. Muscles relax almost completely, losing their tone, except for those in the eyes, which dart rapidly beneath the eyelids. The brain fires fast, intense electrical waves, much like humans, dolphins, and other higher mammals. Researchers have measured this activity using electroencephalograms and have been astonished. The brain activity of a dreaming horse is complex, rich, nearly identical to our own. There are bursts of activity in the cerebral cortex, the amygdala, the hippocampus. Regions linked to memory, emotion, and sensory processing light up like a constellation. This is no coincidence. It's evidence that the equine brain possesses a far more sophisticated emotional and cognitive architecture than we previously suspected. But here's the rub. To enter REM sleep, a horse needs to lie down, completely, and expose itself. In the wild, this only happens when the herd is in a secure location, when other horses are on watch, when the environment is calm, and there are no signs of predators. An adult horse requires 2 to 3 hours of REM sleep daily, but it can't achieve it all at once. It sleeps in short cycles, 15 to 20 minutes long, spread throughout 24 hours. During these brief moments, it plunges into a state of utter vulnerability. The body relaxes so completely that it literally cannot stand. If startled, it takes precious seconds to rise. Therefore, this type of sleep only occurs when every instinct signals safety. And what if something interrupts these cycles? If the environment is never quiet enough, if the horse never feels secure enough to lie down, then the body begins to pay the price. The absence of deep sleep induces irritability, extreme fatigue, and a loss of coordination. Memory becomes impaired. Learning decelerates. In severe cases, a horse may literally collapse while standing because its brain forces the body into REM sleep, regardless of the circumstances. It's a desperate physiological response, akin to the nervous system screaming, "I need to rest now, context be damned." Veterinarians report instances of horses simply falling over during the day, entering brief, deep REM states against their will. They awaken startled, disoriented, and sometimes injured. This serves as a stark reminder that dreaming is not a luxury. It is survival. It is fundamental brain maintenance. Without it, the mind begins a silent disintegration. Now that you grasp the mechanism, it's time to delve deeper, for the paramount question persists. What precisely transpires internally when they dream? Therefore, what exactly do horses dream about? Science cannot peer into their minds. There's no way to connect a monitor and watch their dreams as if they were films. However, it can observe external cues, and these cues tell an astonishing story. During REM sleep, researchers have noted horses moving their legs as if they were running. These are not random movements. They are coordinated patterns, mirroring those of a gallop. Some snort softly, as if expelling air from exertion. Others twitch their lips, making chewing motions, as if consuming invisible grass. There are horses that whinny gently, as if calling out to someone distant. All these movements are involuntary, commanded by a brain that is reliving something. But reliving what? Memories, recent experiences, social interactions, moments of peril or pleasure. The brain is processing everything that occurred during the day, reorganizing, archiving, and making sense of sensory chaos. Professor Ludovic Calandro, a French neuroscientist specializing in animal cognition, explains that REM sleep is crucial for consolidating learning. Throughout the day, a horse absorbs thousands of stimuli, sounds, smells, movements, emotions, textures, temperatures. All of this needs to be filtered. What is important is imprinted into long-term memory. What is irrelevant vanishes. And this work occurs while the animal sleeps. Consequently, horses that learn new commands or undergo intense experiences tend to dream more. Their brains are reorganizing information, transforming chaos into usable memory. It's as if dreaming were a nocturnal workshop where the mind repairs itself, where emotional equilibrium is restored, where neural connections are either reinforced or pruned, and where, for a few fleeting moments, the horse returns to a state of complete freedom, albeit only in the imagination. But there's more. Recent studies have revealed that horses don't merely dream of actions, they dream of emotions. During REM sleep, the limbic system, the brain's emotional processing center, becomes exceptionally active, more so, in fact, than the motor areas. This implies they are not simply recalling past deeds, but rather reliving past feelings, the fear they experienced upon hearing an unfamiliar sound, the exhilaration of galloping across an open field, the contentment of being groomed by a cherished companion, the relief of drinking cool water after a sweltering day. These sensations resurface as sensory fragments during sleep, not as linear narratives, but as emotional flashes. And through some enigmatic process, the brain utilizes these fragments to modulate future emotional responses. It's emotional learning occurring in real time, while the world slumbers, akin to when you dream of something that once frightened you and awaken with a subtly altered perception of that fear. This unveils a profound truth. Horses are not merely reactive. They are sentient beings capable of intricately integrating experiences and sentiments. They learn not only what transpired, but how those events made them feel. And this, in turn, shapes their future behavior. A horse that dreams of a positive encounter with you might awaken more amenable to your presence. Conversely, one that dreams of a traumatic experience may become more withdrawn, more defensive. Dreaming is not mere playback. It is reinterpretation. It is the brain posing the questions. What did this signify? How should I respond next time? Researchers have observed that horses accustomed to stable routines and secure environments exhibit more regular and profound sleep patterns. In contrast, those in stressful surroundings endure fragmented, superficial, and restless sleep. Dreaming, therefore, serves as a mirror reflecting the quality of the animal's emotional well-being. And now, the question that remains unasked, yet ought to be, if dreaming is so fundamentally essential, why do so many horses find themselves unable to do so? Herein lies the uncomfortable reality. Not all horses can dream as they are meant to, and more often than not, the culpability rests with us. For REM sleep to occur, they require three indispensable elements: sufficient space to lie down comfortably, free from the apprehension of entrapment or injury, sufficient quietude for the nervous system to relax and disengage its alert mode, and absolute emotional security, that profound sense that nothing bad will happen. Without these three conditions, a horse simply cannot succumb to deep sleep. It may doze standing for hours, resting its muscles, but it never reaches the dream phase, and this is far more common than you might imagine. In small stables, where the animal can barely turn around, it is physically impossible to lie down properly. In noisy environments, with constant movement of people, machinery, and other animals, the nervous system never fully switches off. The brain continues to process potential threats even during rest. And in places where the horse has been mistreated, neglected, or lives under chronic stress, the mind simply will not permit relaxation. Fear locks down sleep like a bolted door. Over time, REM sleep deprivation begins to destroy the animal from the inside out. It becomes irritable for no apparent reason, overreacts to minor stimuli. It loses fine motor coordination, stumbles over simple things. The capacity to learn new commands diminishes drastically because the brain cannot consolidate information. Some begin to sleep standing and then suddenly collapse. Their legs give way. The body literally crumples because the brain can no longer sustain it. It's as if the organism is screaming, "I need to dream, I need to process, I need to truly rest." Veterinarians call this REM sleep deprivation, and it is a serious condition, often invisible to the untrained eye, because the horse remains alive, continues to eat, drink, and perform basic functions, but internally, it is disintegrating. Its mind is fatigued in a way the body can no longer compensate for. And all of this could be prevented with simple changes, granting it the right to feel safe, the right to rest without fear. There is a case that perfectly illustrates this. An anonymous case study followed a horse named Sombra. For months, he appeared apathetic, listless, disinterested in everything. The owners attributed it to temperament, that he was naturally more subdued. But something wasn't adding up. He was losing weight despite eating well. He reacted strangely to sudden movements. He seemed to live in a perpetual state of half-alertness. Cameras were installed in the stable to monitor his nocturnal behavior. What they discovered was shocking. Sombra never lay down. Literally, never. He stood all night, sometimes resting his head against the wall as if battling slumber. His eyes would flutter shut for mere seconds before he'd shake his head, snapping back to a state of enforced wakefulness. The environment was fraught with noise. There was another aggressive horse in the adjacent stall, kicking incessantly against the wall throughout the night. Sombra simply didn't feel secure enough to lie down. His instincts screamed that if he succumbed to deep sleep, something dreadful might transpire, and his body obeyed the fear. When they moved him to a more spacious, tranquil enclosure, accompanied by a calm and gentle mare, everything shifted. In the first week, he lay down to sleep 3 times. Brief sessions, still tinged with tension, but it was a start. The second week, 5 times. The third, almost every night. And within a month, Sombra had reverted to the vibrant horse he had always been. He regained weight. He became more interactive. He learned new commands with ease. The transformation was so profound that his owners could scarcely believe it. He wasn't sick. He had no grave medical condition. He was utterly exhausted, deprived of the most fundamental sleep a mammal requires. He couldn't dream, and without dreams, he was slowly dying from within, in a way no blood test could ever detect. This is the hidden power of sleep, and the silent peril of deprivation. Consider this: a horse lying down and sleeping is not a weak animal. It is a trusting animal, and if it does so in your presence, it conveys something far beyond words. It signifies that you have become integral to its sanctuary. But what truly transpires in those dreamlike moments, what science has uncovered, transcends all our previous imaginings. Horses' dreams reveal something that science is only beginning to fathom. They demonstrate that the equine mind operates beyond mere survival mode. There exists a profound stratum of emotional processing, affective memory, and meaning construction. During sleep, the limbic system, that ancient part of the brain tethered to emotions, ignites like a beacon. It's not solely the hippocampus consolidating factual data. It's the entire brain reliving sensations. The gentle touch of a hand on a mane, the resonance of a friendly whinny echoing across the field, the scent of a familiar pasture, the one that signifies home. These recollections resurface as sensory fragments during REM, and the horse, through some mysterious mechanism, utilizes them to construct an emotional map of its world, a map that delineates safety and identifies trustworthiness, what is worth remembering, what needs to be forgotten. It is emotional processing in its purest form. Researchers have discovered that horses that have positive experiences during the day dream differently than those who experience stress. Brain patterns change entirely. Muscle movements are smoother, almost serene. Breathing is more regular, deeper, as if the entire body were at peace. It is as if the dream itself reflects the animal's overall emotional state. In practical terms, this means that sleep is a mirror of its emotional life. If it dreams peacefully, it is because it lives peacefully. If it wakes up startled, trembling, it is because it carries unprocessed fear. Dreams do not lie. They expose the truth that diurnal behavior sometimes conceals. And this gives us a powerful tool. Observing how a horse sleeps is observing how it truly feels. It is reading the most honest language it possesses, the one that cannot be disguised, controlled, or repressed. It is the unvarnished truth of what is happening within it. And there is something even deeper. During sleep, the horse symbolically returns to its place of origin. It returns to its purest instinct, to that state of being that existed before domestication, before the reins, before the stables. For a few minutes, it is not confined anywhere. It is running on endless planes that exist only in the species' genetic memory. It is not tied to human routines. It is free under a sky without fences, without gates, without limits. This symbolic return to nature, even if only in the mind, appears to be essential for its psychological health. It is as if the dream were the last refuge of the wild soul, the only place where the horse can still be completely itself, without commands, without bridles, without expectations, merely running, breathing, existing in the purest form possible. Perhaps this is why they wake up different, calmer, more centered, as if they had drunk from a spring that we humans have forgotten exists. The spring of true rest, the kind that reconnects being with its deepest essence, the kind that heals not only the body, but also the soul. The next time you see your horse sleeping, remain silent. Do not wake it. Do not make noise. Observe the still body, the nostrils quivering slightly, the eyes moving beneath the eyelids as if following something invisible. There, in that sacred moment, it is dreaming, not with words, but with sensations, not with linear narratives, but with fragmented memories that reconfigure into meaning. He is processing the day, mending fatigue, readying his mind for what tomorrow may bring. Dreaming is nature's chosen method for sustaining the harmony between body and soul. It is the bridge between instinct and consciousness. It is the brain's way of transmuting experience into wisdom. And it is also a silent reminder to us that rest is not weakness, it is essential, that vulnerability is not peril, it is trust, and that, at times, the most profound act of love we can offer another is simply to let them sleep in peace, to safeguard that moment, to preserve that space as if it were sacred, because, in a way, It is. They dream because they feel. They feel because they are alive in a manner we have forgotten how to be, wholly present, even in the stillness of the night, utterly surrendered to the moment, even in unconsciousness. And perhaps, just perhaps, this is what they come to teach us, that life is not solely movement, it is also pause. It is not solely action, it is also dream. It is not solely being awake, it is also knowing how to truly rest. Share in the comments. Have you ever witnessed your horse dreaming? How did they react upon waking? What movements did you observe? Tell your story. Each account is a window into the mystery they hold. Each shared experience helps us better comprehend these beings who speak without words and feel more profoundly than we imagine. And if this revelation has altered your perspective on their sleep, if you now regard that body lying on the ground with a different gaze, subscribe to the channel. Let us continue to explore together what science reveals and what the hearts of horses still keep in silence. Because each video is a portal, and on the other side, there is always something worth discovering.